Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron. It is the instant match reaction. Hull City 2, Everton 3 after extra time. Rafa Benitez's Everton side are in to the fourth round of the FA Cup. We never make it easy for ourselves, do we? I'm actually doing this live for the first time ever. I don't think I've ever done an instant match reaction live on the channel, but we are live directly after the game. Yeah, as I said, we never make it easy for ourselves, do we? Thankfully, we managed to get the job done, and thankfully we managed to get ourselves into the hat for the next round. It wasn't easy. You know, allowing Hull to get back into the game at times when we should have killed the game off. Obviously, going behind after 45 seconds was great, wasn't it? Typical Everton, really. The manager come out literally 2 minutes before the start of the game and was asked, how do Everton, what's the message about not conceding early on? What's the message you've given to your side about not going behind? And he said, don't do it. And literally within 45 seconds of the first half, as soon as the whistle's gone, we've gone behind 1-0. And, as I said, it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination a good performance by Everton. It wasn't by any stretch of the imagination a dominant performance by Everton. There were certain periods within the game that I thought we were the much better team and we were the much more dominant side. We certainly grew into that second half after the first 10 or 15 minutes. We were into the first half, we were absolutely awful in that first 10 or 15 minutes, and we grew into the game and we started to take control of the ball. We started to take control of the possession, and again in the opening 10 or 15 minutes of the second half, we were doing very much of the same. And as soon as we went 2-1 up, you were sort of thinking, right, go out there, get the third, kill this game off completely. Completely kill any sort of confidence that Hull might have, get the game done and dusted, and get out of there into the half for the next round. But Everton never ever do that, do we? Whenever Everton are 2-1 up in a game of football, which is very rare, by the way, very rarely are we 2-1 up in a game of football, there's always that opportunity that the opposition team could get back into the game. And the opposition sides know that when they come up against Everton now. Teams know that Everton are susceptible to giving away stupid goals. Teams know that Everton are susceptible to making dreadful mistakes, and that's why when we're 2-1 up and we're missing chances to kill the game off and we're missing chances to go 3-1 up, any other fan base of any other football club would sit back and go, well, yeah, we've missed a couple of chances, but, we'll kill this game off. Manchester City last night killed their game off against Swindon, albeit Swindon put in a decent performance and worked hard, but City had no problem killing that game off. We know as Evertonians that when we're 2-1 up and we're missing chances, we know the opposition team are going to get another chance because that's just what we do. And Hull did today, and they made the most of it. They scored, taking the game into extra time, and it took an Andros Townsend absolute rocket from off the bench to give Everton the win. And as I said, it wasn't a very, very good performance, all things considered. I don't think it was a very good performance. We should have been doing much, much better. We should have had that game done and dusted, within the first 10 or 15 minutes of the second half, when Hull were very clearly sort of struggling and very clearly struggling to get back in the game. I did think Demarai Gray was absolutely excellent today. Obviously, he got the equalising goal in the first half, which was a fantastic goal. Really, really nice bit of 1-2 play between him and Anthony Gordon. Gordon slots it through and Demarai Gray finishes perfectly. Let's talk about the opening goal of the game, Hull's opening goal. Again, Everton give away a silly free kick, an absolutely stupid free kick on the edge of the box, and it's one ball into the box. It's the first set piece of the game within literally the opening 30 seconds, and it's into the back of the net. I'm getting to the point now where I'm almost thinking that Everton might be the worst team in the English football pyramid at not being able to defend balls into the box. I honestly think that there isn't one side, whether they be in League 1, League 2, the Championship, that couldn't score against Everton, because it's so easy to score against Everton. You get the ball, you lash it into the box, and you put pressure on the centre-halves, and the centre-halves will undoubtedly make mistakes, as they did today and as they've done on a number of occasions this season. I can't quite fathom how bad we are at defending balls into the box. I really, really can't. Obviously, Rafa Benitez started with the 5 at the back again today. Vitaly Mikalenko making his debut at left wing back. Thought he had a decent enough game. A couple of times in the first half where he was caught out of position. and where Hull, I think sort of targeted the fact that it was his debut, first game in English football, obviously not match fit as we saw towards the end of the game. But as the game, sort of went on, and as the game, progressed, I thought he improved a lot. I thought his positional sense improved. Defensively, he improved a lot as well. Didn't really see an awful lot of him getting forward today, which is disappointing because ultimately that's what we want to see from him. But at the end of the day, he done okay for his debut. And the manager went with a 5 at the back. Seamus Coleman as a right centre-back, which is baffling. With John Joe Kenny at right wing-back. He had Alan and Andre Gomez in the midfield. A very slow centre midfield, to say the least. With, of course, Solomon Rondon up front, Damari Gray on one side and Anthony Gordon on the other. And as I said, we got 1-0 down early on. And, it's sort of being the first minute of the game, you're thinking, right, okay, can we just put it behind us and start again? And for 10 or 15 minutes after that point, we were utterly atrocious. Again, the 4 defenders at the back, the 5 defenders at the back were shocking positional wise. Michael Keane, Ben Godfrey, Seamus Coleman, all didn't seem like they had a clue, what they should have been doing. I felt the midfield was slow. Weren't really controlling the ball, weren't really getting the ball, out their feet, weren't really controlling possession. But going forward, we looked bright. And, as I said, the more and more that the first half went on, the more we settled into the game. Anthony Gordon looked really, really bright. He was getting the ball forward, creating chances. And Damari Gray, of course, who ultimately scored the equaliser, was again causing a threat to... causing a threat to Hull. Got forward, really, really nice bit of play. First of all, an unbelievable touch, by the way, an absolutely unbelievable touch by Damari Gray. Comes over and he sort of flicks it behind his back, picks the ball up, 1-2 with Anthony Gordon, really nice 1-2, and gets Everton back in the game with a really nice goal. And from that point on, we did grow in confidence. We started to play the ball around the midfield a lot nicer. Andre Gomez started to get his foot on the ball a little bit more. Actually thought Andre Gomez was, had a pretty decent game today, all things considered. Alan was winning the ball back. Hull weren't really causing us many problems defensively at that point. They did have a chance just before we equalised, where they could have gone 2-0 up quite comfortably. Asmir Begovic made a really good tip-in save over the bar. But then Everton do go 2-1 up. Again, Anthony Gordon, really, really nice ball out to John Joe Kenny on the right. Really well timed, perfectly timed ball to John Joe Kenny. John Joe Kenny plays a really good dink cross into the box. There was nobody in the box at the time that he played the ball, but it was almost that I'm putting it in this area. It's up to somebody to go and get on the end of it. And Andre Gomez made a burst and run and scored what is only his second goal since joining Everton Football Club. Really, really nice header to beat the goalkeeper. And, Everton then went on to sort of console the rest of the half. Then we were creating some chances. Damari Gray again had a couple of opportunities, couple where he was offside, couple where he was getting kicked up and down the park. Anthony Gordon had one where he cut inside on his left foot, takes a shot and it hits the post. And, at that point, don't know whether anybody else was thinking this, but you're sort of just sitting there thinking, go and kill the game off now. Go and get a third, kill the game off. And had Everton have got a third in that first half, or even, within the opening 10 or 15 minutes of the second half, I think Hull's confidence would have been completely drained. And, it would have almost, well, I don't think it would have completely killed the game off. And it would have been a near enough for me and an easy enough evening for Everton from that point on. But why would we do that when we can not take the chances that we create, give Hull a glimpse of confidence and a glimpse of hope, and then allow them completely back in the game? As I said, we get to half-time. Solomon Rondon up front isn't really doing much, albeit holding the ball up, working hard as he does. But let's be honest, his output, what you actually get out of Solomon Rondon is very, very little, isn't it? Let's be honest. As I said, really impressed with Damari Gray, really impressed with Anthony Gordon. Midfield are starting to, control the ball a little bit more, albeit there should have been a 3 in midfield. I don't know how many times we have to sit here and scream for a midfield 3, but there should have been a 3 in midfield. And then we come out in the second half, and again, we're starting to console the play. We're getting forward. We're creating chances. It was comfortable. We actually look like the Premier League side for once. Hull were, struggling a little bit. I think fitness-wise, they were struggling a little bit as well. And Everton were comfortable in control of the ball. But again, that comfortableness should have been enough for us to go on and get a third goal and win the game. And in simple enough fashion. But it isn't, as is what was typical with Everton. We dilly-dally on the ball. We don't create our chances. We don't effectively, we don't do enough. And, within the last sort of 15, 20 minutes of the game, Hull start to grow in confidence. And I sat there and I said to my dad, sat on the couch, we'll give them 5 or 10 minutes here where they'll think, actually, do you know what? We're still in this game. We can actually go and get an equaliser. We can actually go and get something out of this tie. Literally within 30 seconds of me saying it, really good ball into the Hull forward, I can't remember his name, and he kills an effort past Asmir Begovic, and it's all of a sudden it's 2-2, and Everton have got extra time looming over us, and ultimately, listen, it's not good enough. We will be positive because we've won the game at the end of the day. Andros Townsend coming off the bench in extra time and scoring a fantastic third goal, and we've won the game, and this could have gone a lot worse. A couple of hours ago when we were coming into this game, we could have been beaten. We could have been out of the FA Cup. The pressure would have piled on the manager. The pressure still will pile on the manager because we shouldn't have been taken to extra time with a side that are 19th in the Championship. No disrespect to Hull, of course. But, we get to full time. Again, the manager's made a couple of substitutions. He's brought Abdoulaye Doucouré on at this point to try and change the game. He's brought Jean-Philippe Gbamin on as well to try and change the game. Lewis Dobbin is still sitting on the bench. Don't know why. Don't know how. Solomon Rondon managed to stay on for as long as he did. Let's talk about the refereeing performance for a second. We will get in the live comments in a moment, by the way. So if you are watching live, do get your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying, please hit that like button. 150 people watching. Unbelievable. If you could hit the like, it would mean a great deal to us. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. But Kevin Friend today was absolutely abysmal, wasn't he? I mean, I don't think I've seen that bad of a refereeing performance for years. Absolute years. And the BBC commentators, Jermaine Genius and the other fella sat next to him, I can't remember his name, had the cheek to sit there towards the end of the game and say he'd had a decent game. Oh, the referee's had a decent game today, hasn't he? He missed 2 absolute blatant penalties. I've never seen the first one. The first one's a fucking save. Jermaine Genius is coming out and saying, oh, it's unlucky, where's he meant to put his arm? He fucking saves it in the box. If it was a goalkeeper doing that, you'd applaud him and say, that's a great save, that. Absolutely abysmal refereeing by Kevin Friend. The second one is right in front of him. Absolutely right in front of him. The defender throws his arm up and it strikes him as cleanly as you'd possibly like. Damari Gray claims for it, and Kevin Friend again clearly had a tenner on Hull getting through into the next round, so didn't give it. Again, just before the full-time whistle in, the end of the second half, before extra time, Solomon Rondon ragged down one-on-one with the goalkeeper, gives a foul the other way for some reason, not sure how. He was just abysmal today, Kevin Friend, and he's a woeful referee. He's an absolutely woeful referee. He shouldn't be anywhere near this level of football. He really, really shouldn't. But today, he was especially bad. But he wasn't the reason as to why Everton weren't winning that game in normal time. He wasn't the reason as to why Everton didn't take the chances. Wasn't the reason as to why Everton, couldn't kill the game off early. And ultimately, we should have done better. Damari Gray, I thought he was brilliant today. But he had a couple of chances that he maybe could have done a little bit more with. He had a couple of offsides that he maybe could have done a little bit more with as well. Anthony Gordon, it's the post, of course. Solomon Rondon, wasn't doing anything, was he? Let's be honest. So, as bad as Kevin Friend was, and he was awful, he wasn't the reason as to why Everton made it difficult for ourselves today. We just did what Everton do and make games difficult for ourselves. But, as I said, full-time whistle goes. We go into extra time, and ultimately we shouldn't have been there. We should have been comfortably winning that game. That game should have been done and dusted in the opening 20 minutes of the second half, when Hull weren't really in it. They weren't really testing us, and we had all of the possession and all of the opportunities to go and get a third. But we get into extra time. Townsend comes on the pitch, and you can start to see at this point Hull were tired an awful lot. The legs of Hull players were, you could see they were tired, and you could see that they were struggling to keep up with the play, and Everton's substitutions, the fresh legs. Obviously, Andros Townsend comes on, scores an absolute rocket, a typical, vintage Andros Townsend. If you to think of an Andros Townsend goal, you would think of that strike, an absolutely wonderful strike with his left foot. Should the goalkeeper do better? Yeah, probably, but I'm not really arsed. And he makes it 3-2. And, you know, from that point on, there was obviously that, I think that thought of all of us is to think, don't concede again. Don't go and give them another chance. Don't let them get back in the game. But we didn't. You know, we get into the second half. Lewis Dobbin comes on, you know, for Damari Gray. I thought personally Damari Gray should have been taken off before Anthony Gordon. I think he was being kicked up and down the pitch in the second half. And I think although he was still in the game and he was creative and he was a threat for us, you know, he looked like he was carrying an injury, to be honest. He looked like he was carrying an injury. But, you know, Lewis Dobbin comes on, gives that little bit of an injection of pace. Cenk Tosun comes on for a rare appearance to shore the game up. And Everton end up seeing the game out and winning it. And ultimately, listen, Joseph says lots of positives, get behind the positives, for fuck's sake. Listen, at the end of the day, we're in the app for the next round. It wasn't a pretty performance, but we all knew it wasn't going to be a pretty performance. Why would it be? It's Everton. When do Everton ever make anything pretty for ourselves? When do Everton ever, you know, go out in a game like this and just control? You know, the scoreboard, the score updates come up on the television just before the end of the game, and it was Chelsea were winning 5-0, and I turned around and said to me, Dad, why can't Everton ever do that? Why can't Everton just turn up and comfortably win a game of footy where we're sitting there within the 60th minute with our feet up going, yeah, we've won this, no problem whatsoever. But look, at the end of the day, we won. And that was all that matters, and it was absolutely imperative that we won this game of football today. Not just for Rafa Benitez. Forget Rafa Benitez and his situation and his position for a moment. Rafa Benitez, you know, still does come under a lot of criticism after tonight because, you know, we did make it difficult for ourselves, and some of his substitutions and decisions were poor. I felt today they were poor. But forget all of that for a second. We've won a game of footy. This is only the second game of football we've won in the last 3 months since September. The second game of football since September. You know, this is only our second win in 12 games, 13 games, something like that. And yes, it's against Hull. And yes, you know, we had to go into extra time. And yes, we made it difficult for ourselves. All of that. But at the end of the day, we won the game of football. We didn't have to witness penalties, which is a massive positive, isn't it? And we won the game of football. And as I said, for me, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, I thought Mykolenko impressed in his debut. You know, I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see Nathan Patterson, but given the circumstances, given the situation in the you know, in the game, I'm not really surprised that we didn't see Nathan Patterson. I thought Lewis Dobbin looked lively when he come on. Anthony Gordon again, I thought was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I thought Damari Gray was a threat, and again showed why. Just how important he is. His goal is absolutely immaculate, absolutely immaculate. Andre Gomez, I thought, played relatively well, as did, I think, Alan next to him, to be honest. Certainly as the game went on, I thought that both of them were much more impressive than what they were at the start of the game. And listen, we're through. We're in the app for the next round. We're through, and that's all that matters. You know, really, really good header by Andre Gomez to obviously get the second goal. Great to see him scoring only his second goal in an Everton shirt, but great to see that in the back of the net. And yeah, Andros Townsend with a typical Andros Townsend rocket to win it for us at the end of the day. And listen, as I said, we should have had a couple of penalties. The referee was abysmal today, so maybe in another sense, had VAR been in place, or had Kevin Friend had been just a little bit of a half-decent referee, then maybe we'd be sitting here talking about, you know, a 5-2 win, and it would be a much more positive conversation. But we've won the game, and ultimately that's all I care about. That's all that matters at the end of the day. We've won the game. We're in the app. We got to see Mykolenko for 90 minutes. It was good. Done well, worked hard, you know, for considering he's clearly not match fit, certainly not to the level that we need him to be. He done really, really well. You know, unfortunately, we didn't get to see Nathan Patterson, but I'm sure we will get to see him over the next couple of days or so. Thought Asmir Begovic stepped in and made a couple of really important saves. Big decision that by the manager. Big decision because there's not really a need to rest goalkeepers. There's not really a need for Jordan Pickford to have not started this one. So it was a big decision by Rafa Benitez, but I actually thought Asmir Begovic played well. Made a really, really big save towards the end of the game that would have taken it into penalties from... I can't remember who the Eves was. It Eves got down and Begovic made an unbelievable save at the end of the game. So, yeah, listen, wasn't pretty, wasn't easy. It never is pretty or easy with Everton, is it? But it was a win, and it was a win that takes us into the next round, and it was a win that we can all be happy about. It was a win that we can all sit here tonight, Saturday night, maybe open a beer, drink responsibly, and just, relish in Everton winning a game of football, because we haven't done much of that recently, have we? Let's get into the live comments then. Go through a couple of these before we finish up. 200 people watching. If we could hit those likes, it would mean a great, great deal to me if you are enjoying. And Andy says, live, yeah, here we are. An Everton fan talks about, says, hi Cam, very stressful game. It was, Hull made it difficult for us, as expected. Hull made it difficult for us. Scored a couple of, good goals themselves, but ultimately, I do think the quality shone through in the end. And we were all, I said it yesterday in the preview, BBC were probably looking for a shock exit there, and I said in the preview it'd be more of a shock if Everton controlled a game of football than actually Hull turning up and beating us. That wouldn't be much of a shock. But listen, we won. Wormy says, Cam, it was pathetic showing up with 3 centre-backs and Agent. We get overrun in midfield. Massive difference when we went forward back with 3 minutes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We need that 3 in midfield. We demand that 3 in midfield. It's so important. The 5 at the back just doesn't work. I'll tell you what else we need as well. We need a centre-half this month. We desperately need a centre-half this month, a leader, a controller, somebody that gets in the, in the box and is dominant. Effectively Yerry Mina, but somebody that we can rely on. I don't drink Cam, I love Costco cake, says DGST. Yes, mate, is right. Jason says, VAR needs to be looked into for the FA Cup, where it can be used in a game of Prem grounds, but otherwise not. Should be used in all ties. Yeah, I agree. Alex Iwobi is worth half for Southampton. Mad. Hull City are a European top team, says Mario. Let's get up to the towards the top then. Rafa out awful decisions. Listen, people still won't be happy with the manager today, and rightly so, maybe, but we've won a game. We've won the game. That's all that matters. We've won the game. We're in the half for the next round. It could have gone much worse today. It really could have. I think there was a stat read out at the start of the game. 4 out of the last 6 seasons Everton have gone out of the FA Cup at this stage. So we've won, and let's just be happy about that. Same old Everton. Tom says, same old Everton, Cam, not making it easy for ourselves. Yeah, Lewis says, he's done as a manager, he's got to go. He won't sack him after the win. That was brutal, says Junior. We're awful, says Will. Adam says, someone section me. Hi, everybody. What an awful win, says Jason. But at least it's a win. Come on, you Blues. Effing awesome, says Phil. Listen, it wasn't pretty. And it wasn't amazing. And it wasn't an unbelievable performance. And it wasn't easy for ourselves. But it was a win. And that is all that matters. Glenn says, Cam, what scram will you have to celebrate? I'm having a sausage dinner, mate. We will be back with the player ratings a little bit later on. I don't know if it'll be directly after this game. It depends where about my tea is up to. I'm probably going to go and have my tea beforehand, and then we'll be back in about an hour or so with the player ratings live again. So join us for them. But listen, it's a win. And a win is all that matters. It could have gone much worse. We could have been sitting here now talking about a defeat. We could have been sitting here now saying, we're out the FA Cup. We're still in the FA Cup. We did make it hard for ourselves, but it's a win, and that's all that matters. WT says, hey, from Germany, from a Ukraine fan and Dynamo Kiev. Watch your game for Mikalenko. He wasn't perfect, but wasn't terrible either, especially for the first game. Congrats with the win. Thank you very much. Yeah, I thought he had a decent game. Worked hard. Certainly grew into the game and improved a lot more as the game went on. But I thought he played well. I did. Anyway, look, there you go. We are going to finish it up there. Then if you have enjoyed this instant match reaction live for once, then please do leave a like. Let us know if you'd like to see more live instant match reactions and player ratings. As I said, we will be back with the player ratings a little bit later on after I've had my tea, because I am absolutely starving. Check out the reviews for Longstaff today. That's brutal. Jamie says, usually are talking about getting beaten. Jeff says, cheers, Cam. Enjoy your scran. Thank you very much. Big thanks for watching. We're through to the next round. That's all that matters. It wasn't easy, but we're through, and we can move on now, and hopefully we can get a little bit of momentum and take that forward. Thought Damari Gray played really well. Thought Anthony Gordon was brilliant today as well. A couple of other players, Alan Gomez, I thought were decent. Begovic done well in goal. Mikalenko done well for his debut. So get in, it's a win. We're in the half of the next round. Get in, up the toffees. If you've enjoyed this one, leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Cheers for watching. See you after.